So I started recording this video and I realized I didn't really have an intro, so I guess I can shoehorn the intro here and move this around because it's my video anyway. But what's up, y'all? This is Supreme King back again with another video. I just wanted to start off with this game, which I thought was the most creepiest trailer of the night. This is OD. We finally get to see the Kojima project that he's working on with Xbox and Xbox Studios. So this is going to be their exclusive, and it wasn't too much shown. It was just very creepy, very bizarre. I can imagine this is going to be a horror game, obviously, but I'm here for it. This is a Kojima project. We already know the wacky mind of Kojima, and so we'll see what this is as time goes on, but it's going to be a great big game for Xbox and a big game for Game Pass, so this is a W for them. Okay, next up we got is the first Berserker Kazan. Now when this went on the screen and I saw all the blood and everything and he's showing his hands and everything, the first thing I was thinking of was God of War. And of course you could tell from the way it looks that some of the inspiration for this came from that. But the second I start seeing all of the action, I was sold. I was sold immediately. The first Berserker looks really good. I don't know how far in development they are with this, but I am definitely going to be there to get this game. It looked phenomenal. This is the type of game that I love to play, especially with the Metroidvania style games, but this one is in full 3D and I am definitely here for this. I cannot wait till this one comes out. I want to add this to my collection and have a good old time with it. Alright, for the Game Awards, this was one of the games that stood out to me. This is Tales of Kenzera Zao. And I'm very big on the Metroidvania games. I've just got done talking about a whole bunch of them that I got on Black Friday. But here we are with another one. I gotta admit, the first thing I was thinking about is Black Panther when I saw it, and this would be a really cool little game to resemble that because we don't really have a Black Panther game in the 2D Metroidvania space. So here's something for that, and I think the story is probably going to be really good, and I can't wait to try this out. Here's one of the biggest surprises of the night, something that came out of nowhere that I don't think anybody was expecting, but Marvel Blade. And what's crazy about this is that it's going to be a part of Bethesda's productions with Arcane, and we associate Marvel to be with Sony for so long because of Spider-Man, but it looks like they're handing one of their franchises over to Xbox for this generation. So we're gonna get Marvel Wolverine on Sony and Marvel Blade on Xbox, and it's cool. I don't see no problem with that. You know, this is why I advocate for having, you know, your hand in every cookie jar by owning all the systems. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very phenomenal release, and I am definitely going to be there to get it. This next one is called Last Sentinel. It didn't really give you too much gameplay here. It really just gave you a, you know, cinematic trailer, and the trailer pretty much gave you a glimpse of what you would expect as far as what the gameplay is going to be. Here you have what looks to be like a futuristic post-apocalyptic era where there's just all robots. I guess everybody, I assume, was a robot that was being hunted by other robots, you know, Terminator versus RoboCop. But then you have this one girl show up and she took out the whole group. She was, I guess, rescuing everyone. So I'm interested in what I see here, but I would like to see more gameplay. But I will keep an eye on this. I was very pleased with the cinematic trailer for a world premiere. Here's another world premiere. This one was called The First Descendant. It reminded me a little bit like Returnal just because of the spacesuit, but one of the enemies was like Megazord size, and I was very much interested in what I was seeing. This is still more of a CGI trailer. You didn't really see too much, but it's more forgiving for me because a lot of what we saw tonight was world premieres, and the first trailer can be a CGI trailer. It was something that I was interested in. The story of it seems pretty interesting. Reminds me of the last game, and it's funny because the last one was the Last Sentinel, this one being the First Descendant. It's just cool. It's cool to see all these different games, and I will be trying this one out just like some of the other games that I put on this list. Alright, so here is Exoborn, and first, one thing I do gotta say is it seems like a lot of games here are starting to be more robot based, and I don't know if I'm okay with that. because I wonder if there's some, you know, wink wink, something, somebody's trying to tell us something, but whatever, we're not going to get into all that. But this is Exoborn, and it's going to be a tactical open world extraction shooter, and it's going to be set in an apocalyptic United States area. I mean, we kind of saw that because you saw that school bus, but it looked pretty cool for the CGI trailer that they gave you. I'm pretty sure they'll show you more as time goes on, but from what I was able to look up, you're going to craft your weapons and fight to stay alive, scavenge, build new armor. It's what you're used to. So I will like to see how this progresses as time goes on. I'm pretty sure they have something nice here. Alright, from the creator of Dead Cells, this is Windblown. Now this one caught me off guard for a second because I was just sort of watching the trailers back to back, and I saw it was still like more of a CGI trailer, but it looked a little cartoony, and I was just like, okay, you know, it's probably a game for the younger crowd. And then next thing you know, they got their heads blown off, and I was like, whoa, and they showed some blood, and I was like, oh, whoa. And I realized right away, like, oh yeah, this is definitely made from the makers of Dead Cells. But yeah, from what I could see from the trailer, you could tell it was definitely a roguelike experience because they kept coming back. And the one character that was able to power up, that character got more power and was able to take down the one robot that was killing the other ones. And so I was already understanding what this game was going to be about, and the art style was still good for what it was. Even though it looked a little bit more cartoony for this type of game, I still think it's going to be a very good game, and it's from the maker of Dead Cells. They know what they're doing. Here is Metaphor ReFantazio, and if you are a fan of the Persona series, you're pretty much sold just based off of that, based off of Atlas. There's not much else you have to say, you know, to sell anybody on this type of game. But one thing I will mention is I did hear about the Persona 6 leaks, but until that's made official, I'm not really going to speak on it. But for anybody looking for a game to play until then, this is definitely the game for you. It's obviously a lot of the same mechanics that you're used to. I mean, I don't have to sell you on it. I'm pretty sure people were sold on this as soon as they saw it because it looked good. It played very similar to the Persona series that you've already been used to as it is. So I'm definitely going to play it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are already going to play it. This was cool to see, and I like this. I like to see more. So far from the trailers that I was looking at, I thought this one was very well put together for a CGI trailer to really show story content. It was very movie-like, and there was a lot of emotion involved in it. I thought it was put together very well, but I gotta say, once they showed the gameplay at the end, it looked very, very reminiscent of Returnal. I mean, from every little aspect of it, I would have thought it could have been Returnal Part 2 or something, or origin story or something, but it still looked fun. It still looked very interesting. It looked like it invoked a lot of emotion from what we were seeing from this love story, I guess, from the guy and the girl in their service to their mission and what they were trying to accomplish. I am interested in seeing this story. I will be wishlisting this game just like all the other ones. I believe this game is going to be fully multi-plat, so let's see what happens with this. Alright, so here is Kamuri, and we don't know too much about this yet, but I can say the art style was very beautiful, and you can see there's probably going to be a lot of parkour action going on, a lot of jumping all over the place, and I don't know if these guys are ninjas or what they are, but I will say from the trailer, that had some really awesome music. It was probably some of the best music I heard from the trailer so far for the night, but I am interested in this. I just need to see a little bit more before I, buy the game just to see what it's about, but it looks dope. All right, so here is No Rest for the Wicked. This one looked pretty interesting. It looks like there's going to be a very gritty, dark story here with some intensities here and there. I'm very interested in what that story is going to be. Just from this trailer alone, it looked very serious. We didn't really see too many games that have that much of a darker tone nowadays. A lot of times there's some tongue-in-cheek humor. This one didn't look like it had that much tongue-in-cheek humor, but at least for the gameplay that they showed, the combat looks really good, and I believe this is still developed by the makers of the Ori series, and it has some of the art style related to it. I am very interested. I do want to see a little bit more before I go ahead and purchase it, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more as time goes on anyway, because this was just a world premiere. This is definitely on my list to follow. So here is Visions of Mana. Now, when it comes to Square Enix, they've been hit or miss throughout a lot of different releases, but they seem to get it right when it always comes down to JRPGs and action JRPGs. And so this one looks really good, and it looks like it plays just like your typical action RPG. This will be something that I look forward to playing at some point. The combat looks like what you're used to seeing. The art style also, it looks like something you're used to seeing. I don't think you can go wrong with this. I'm already into a lot of games that's like this, so I know that I'm not going to go wrong with picking this one up. So I'm definitely going to try this out. All right, so I'm putting this one last because I feel like I was waiting 65 million years for this to drop. This was Jurassic Park Survival. Now, we don't really have any real footage for this yet, just the CGI footage, but the main thing about it is I am one of those guys who's been asking for Jurassic Park type games, or at least dinosaur type games, to make somewhat of a comeback. As far as like Dino Crisis, we didn't see anything since then, at least anything that's relevant. But Dino Crisis is probably the main one I want to see as a remake from Capcom. But enough about all of that. This is about Jurassic Park. They replayed the famous scene from the first movie. Apparently this takes place right after the first movie, and you can kind of see that here. It's going to be probably survival horror because everything's trying to eat you, I guess. So I'm very excited about it because at least Jurassic Park was where it all started when it came to anything horror related coming from the dinosaur world. So for them to actually do this type of game, and it's not like one of those like park building games, it's like an actual survival horror type game. It is like all coming in full circle, so I'm very excited about this. But outside of that, that's all I got for you here. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.